Welcome to the QuickBooks Enterprise Deep Dive webinar. Today is going to be about cash flow. My name is Dina. I am a senior consultant here at Fourlane. I've been here just over 4 years, and I am one of the QuickBooks Pro Advisors Top 100 for 2025, and honored to be that. So today we're going to cover what is cash flow, why is it important, how do we track it both within QuickBooks and outside of QuickBooks, and then we'll kind of wrap it all up together, okay? So I'm going to switch over to my sample file here. If you've been on one of these webinars before, you know that sample files, sometimes the dates are a little bit silly, but we're going to roll with it, okay? So first, what is cash flow? In the most simple terms, cash flow is simply the money that moves into and out of your company over a given period of time. Maybe that's a week, maybe that's a quarter, maybe that's an entire fiscal year. So if the inflow of cash, the money you are getting into the business, exceeds the money you are spending in the business, then you have a positive cash flow, and that's what everybody wants. However, if you are spending more than you are bringing in, if your cash outflow is exceeding your inflow, then you've got a negative cash flow. And that could indicate some company health issues. That could indicate a number of things. So those are things that we want to keep an eye on. So that's one of the reasons that our cash flow tracking is so important. It helps give us a little bit of insight to make sure that our company can cover its obligations, reinvest in the business, return money to shareholders if you have them, and even provide a little bit of a buffer or a safety net against any future economic or financial challenges. If we've got consistent negative cash flow, that means the company is losing money, means you might not be able to cover your obligations, you might not be able to reinvest in the business, you might not even be able to keep that business afloat. So it's definitely something that we want to keep an eye on. So how do we track it? Okay, in QuickBooks, we can track, we've got two built-in reports. Okay, one of them is the statement of cash flows, and one of them is the cash flow forecast. They're both going to be here under reports, company and financial, and then all the way down here at the bottom. Okay, so we're going to start with our statement of cash flows here. And then I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can all see a little bit better. So what we'll see here are going to be three primary sections. Okay, so we have our operating activities, we have our investing activities, we have our financing activities. Okay, and we'll go through each of those individually, I promise. So our net income, this is the net income that would show on our balance sheet or our income statement for the same time period that we've chosen on our report. Now this report defaults to this fiscal year to date, and that works for us, but you're welcome to change that to any other date range that you'd like to. So this comes straight off of our balance sheet. And then there are some adjustments that have to be made, okay? So accounts receivable, if you're like me, you're thinking, why is accounts receivable negative, right? Well, it's negative because this net income number here already includes the sales revenue from these sales. But if it's still sitting in accounts receivable, we don't have that cash, right? We haven't received that amount of cash yet. Okay, so we've got to take that back out of our net income because it's not actually cash. Prepaid insurance, right? This is something that we paid cash or a cash equivalent for previously. It's not included in this particular time period. We've expensed it in this time period, but that's not actually a cash flow, so we're adding that back, okay? So on and so forth, right? Employee advances, we've loaned an employee some money, they're expecting to give it back to us. Inventory asset, right? We've had to spend cash to purchase that inventory, and because when we buy inventory, it sits on our balance sheet as an asset, it doesn't go through an expense account, so that's why we're subtracting that cash from our cash flow here. Now accounts payable, very similar to accounts receivable. We're spending money. Why is it positive? Because we haven't paid that cash yet. We've recorded the expense, we know that it's due, but we still have that cash. We haven't sent that to them yet. Same with our credit cards, right? We've spent that money in a credit card, essentially a cash equivalent, but we haven't paid that credit card yet. Payroll liabilities, sales tax payable, those are all going to be the same, okay? So these are all things that are related to the normal everyday primary operations of your company, okay? Accounts receivable, accounts payable, inventory, payroll, etc. If we move down into the investing activities, right, this is specific to things that you have invested in, right? Maybe that's an investment account, some T-bills, any number of things that you might have invested in. Maybe you've even invested in another company, right? But you're expecting to get some kind of a return from that, right? Whether that's unrealized gains, whether that's dividends, whether that's interest income, you're expecting something from that to help build your cash, okay? Now you can see here my original investment, that's the cash outflow where I paid cash to invest into this investment account. And then you can see this cash inflow here, right? I have an unrealized gain. That investment is now worth $50,250, so that is a gain. And then we have our financing activities. These are the things that you use to help your business run, to finance the capital, to finance vehicles or buildings or equipment, anything that you have to have a loan for. Those are going to be down here in our financing activities. And so these numbers here indicate a cash outflow. We didn't take the loan in this time period, but we have paid against that loan. So that indicates cash out, okay? So our net cash is provided by our financing. You can see we have these little subtotals for operating, investing, and financing. And then we have our total net cash increase or decrease, as we see here, for the time period given. We've got $71,333 and some change loss, a negative cash outflow here. So you can see that our cash at the beginning of the period, that's according to our bank accounts, was at 126, and now it's going to be at 55 at the end of this period, okay? So if we were to look at this and consistently see this month over month or year over year, consistently seeing this net cash decrease for those periods, right, that could indicate a problem. That could indicate some health issues. We need to start figuring out how do we collect faster with our customers, right? How do we get them to pay us faster? How do we lower our costs, right? Maybe we need to shop around to get a better price on some of our inventory. Oops, apologies. Did not mean to click on there, right? So there are a lot of things that we can look at if we start to see consistent negative cash flow, okay? So that's a statement of cash flows. This is a historical look at where we have been, okay? If we wanted to look forward a little bit, we could look at QuickBooks cash flow forecast, okay? And that's going to be right over here, right under our statement of cash flows. So with this one, okay, you can see that the layout here is a lot simpler, and that's a good thing. So this tells us here's our beginning balance, okay? This is our bank accounts. We're at $64,956, okay? And then it separates it by weeks for us. Now this is customizable, right? We can say we want to look just at the next 4 weeks or the next fiscal quarter or the next fiscal year if you wanted to try and project out that far. And then you can break it down into different sets of time, right? Weeks, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, etc. So this tells us, right? So at the beginning, we had $336 that we still owed to a vendor, and we had basically $65,000 in our bank account. So at the end of that, right, our projected balance was $64,621. And we can see this week we've got some accounts receivable that are expecting to be paid. Now QuickBooks is going to base these things off of the due date. So if your customers always pay on or around the due date, then this should be pretty accurate for you. However, if your customers don't, they tend to be 10, 15, 20 days late, right? Some of these numbers aren't going to line up where you're actually going to get that cash, okay? But this is QuickBooks guessing based on the due date that you've put on those invoices for customers and those vendor bills. Same thing on the vendor side though, right? This is going to base this off of the due date that exists on the bills that make up that balance. So if you are good at paying your bills on time, perfect, good on you, then that'll be accurate. If not, then that might be a little bit inaccurate, okay? But QuickBooks is basically taking this projected balance over here on the top right. It's going to add in what we expect our customers to pay this week, subtract out our accounts payable. You can see here that we are also subtracting from our bank accounts, right? So these are expenses, things that we have paid that did not go through our accounts payable or have already been paid, right, for that week. Net inflows, right? So that's revenue that we've recorded but we haven't received cash for, and that's where it's coming up with our projected balance for the end of next week or whatever the date range is. Okay. Now again, here we can see that our projected ending balance here is negative. Okay. Again, that's going to indicate a negative cash flow, and that could be problematic. So there are a few weaknesses of doing these reports within the QuickBooks environment, right? We just have these two. We have the historical statement of cash flows for whatever prior period we decide. We have our cash flow forecast here, which again, we can make this go a little bit further out, right? And we can break it down by month. We could even, if we wanted to get super detailed, we could break it down by day. I don't know how helpful that would be, but we do have that option, okay? But the thing about these reports is that QuickBooks doesn't know certain things, right? So if we go back, let me change this to my next 4 weeks, and we'll switch this back to weeks. So if I know that I have just placed an order with a vendor, and that order is going to be due on this week, but I know that we haven't received the bill from the vendor, that bill doesn't exist in QuickBooks, and QuickBooks doesn't know that that's going to be a cash outflow, okay? If we have a customer that just called to place an order, but we haven't put that in the system yet, then QuickBooks doesn't know that that's a receivable. QuickBooks also doesn't take into account things like estimates or customer sales orders, right? So those are things that we know are potential future sales. Hopefully by the time it's a sales order, it's a confirmed future sale. The customer's just waiting for you to build or deliver the product, right? But QuickBooks doesn't take those kinds of things into account, right? So when it's forecasting that cash flow, it just doesn't know that. So when we talk about more detailed cash flows, sometimes it's more helpful to look to more of an Excel or a spreadsheet type, okay? One other thing I want to mention that it doesn't account for is payroll, okay? If you've already run the payroll, that's great. It shows as a cash outflow, no big deal. But when we're looking at the forecast specifically, QuickBooks doesn't know what your payroll is going to be next week, okay? Even if you've got your payroll schedule set up, even if your employees are tracking time, even if they're all on salary, QuickBooks just doesn't know that that payroll is going to happen. It doesn't take that into account, okay? So this cash flow may or may not be accurate depending on when you've got things going into the system, where you're at in your payroll cycle, other cycles as well. So what we've got here at Fourlane that we can help with, right, is our cash projection template, okay? It's got our create date on it. We put in our starting cash balance. These are just random numbers I generated in here for today's purposes. But we can kind of build our cash flow from here, right? We say, here's our starting balance. I know that I've got a deposit that I just haven't seen clear the bank yet, right? I got the check yesterday, I'm taking it to the bank in the morning, or whatever the case might be, okay? And I know I've written some checks that I put in the mail yesterday, so it's gonna be a few days, maybe a week or two before those clear the bank. Okay? So we count for those right off the bat. And then we can look week over week, and we can determine what would we expect our cash in, our cash out, payroll, and other inflows or outflows to be, okay? Now, cash in, accounts receivable, right? Generally, we pull these numbers from historical information, right? We can pull transaction detail for this same period last year, and we can see what the trends were, right? Were we consistently bringing in these types of numbers? We also know our business a lot better than QuickBooks does, right? We know that there is seasonality in our business, perhaps, especially if we're in some kind of a pool or water type environment, or even in construction, okay? Whether you've got seasonality, whether you know that you are a progress biller, right? You bill in phases of projects, and so a portion of it, you know, you're gonna be completing here and invoicing for, portion of it you'll be invoicing for here, right? You know those things, okay? So you can go in and you can pull the data from QuickBooks, and then you can apply your own knowledge to that to make this very, very specific, okay? Same thing on the cash out side. Now you'll see we've got cash out and payroll separated as well as other cash flows, right? So we've separated out a few common ones here, but these are really just anything that you would benefit from seeing as a separate line in a cash flow projection. Okay, some people don't want to include commissions with their payroll. Some people do, right? So that's your choice. Some people want to include rent instead of putting it in their AP. Okay, but again, you know that to complete this project that you're going to bill for next week, you're going to have to place a big order with a vendor. So you can put that estimated cost in there, okay, that estimated payment to the vendor, right? Not just the cost itself, but when you're going to pay that vendor or when that customer is going to pay you, okay? Remember, we're talking cash. So you can fill this in, right? If we've got biweekly payroll, right? We know it's fairly consistent every couple of weeks. We know that we pay our rent once a month, and you can see I don't have rent on here, so let's pop that in here, and that always goes in as a negative, okay? And so we would copy that, put it right over here in the beginning of August as well, okay? If we pay our insurance once a year, maybe once a quarter, you can put that information in here. If we pay for a large software, I once had an architecture firm, they paid for an AutoCAD software once a year, and it was insanely expensive, and they were expensing it right off the bat. It is a cash outflow, right? You are paying that money right off the bat. There's a different way to account for that prepaid expense essentially, but that cash is still leaving your account, so you would still want that to be on our cash flow. If we know that we make quarterly tax payments, if we know that we've got sales tax payments to make, etc. So these all sum up here at the bottom for us. They feed right back up into here. And so we can see, here's our starting balance, money in, money out, and that should probably be a negative, but that's okay. And then it gives us our ending cash balance here. Okay, and so we can track this and we can say, oh, look, we've actually got pretty decent cash flow, and that's because my numbers here were not negative. So I apologize on that. That was a miss on me, but you can see how these change, right? When we make this into a cash outflow, okay? And you can see, right, this week we've got a negative cash outflow, and this week we have a positive, right? So if we keep going and we look, right, now 1 week of negative cash flow is not the end of the world. No cause for panic if it's just 1 week, okay? But what we don't want is to be seeing red consistently, right? We don't want to see red more often than we see black, okay? So if you do see that, time to create a plan, figure out how to turn the bus around and get moving in the other direction. Okay, we've covered a lot of material today. Does anybody have any questions? One other thing, while you guys are formulating your questions, I'm going to switch back over to QuickBooks really quickly. One other thing that this forecast doesn't take into account is those memorized transactions. So if you've, for example, memorized your rent payment or your building lease payment, or you've memorized a utility payment or a cell phone payment, and you have those existing here in our memorized transactions just as expenses that will enter automatically, QuickBooks doesn't see those as part of that cash flow forecast, right? Even if it's scheduled to come out next week, QuickBooks isn't going to see that until it actually posts. So that's another reason that we would want to look to using an external tool like Excel, because we do know that. We know that that's an automatic cash outflow for us. Okay, so we bring it all back together, right? Cash flow is simply the ins and the outs of our cash, right? What we're bringing in, what we're bringing out. And I'm trying to switch to my next slide here. There we go. It's important because it helps give us some insight on the health of our company. And we can track it both within QuickBooks, we can track it outside of QuickBooks, and it's always a good thing to look at, okay? Thanks so much.